Core Bank is
7 o'clock.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, North Central St Andrew takes centre stage after both JLP contenders withdraw from race. Trough continues to dump rain on the island. Remains found in St Catherine believed to be missing UTech student. In inspired Jamaica, a mother's wish comes true, but while in sports, it's do or die for a spot in the Jamaica Premier League final. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Sunday, May 18, 2025. It's an abbreviated newscast making way for live JPL action at 7:45 right here on CVM. I'm Curlin Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. And we continue on a developing political story CVM News broke earlier today. Both JLP contenders for North Central St Andrew have withdrawn following a party review. The seat, which has been in the spotlight in recent weeks, is currently held by veteran politician and MP Carl Samuda since 1980. Here's more from Nika Lewis.
What was shaping up to be an intense battle between the JLP's contenders in St Andrew North Central in the push to succeed MP Carl Samuda has seemingly fizzled. This after both Delano Seavright and Christian Tavares Finson withdrew their applications to be selected as the party's candidate. The party's central executive confirmed the move Sunday in a statement. Senator Abka Fitzhenley is chairman of the JLP's communication task force.
Yes, I can confirm that the Central Executive of the Jamaica Labour Party was advised during its meeting today that Delano and Christian have formally withdrawn their application to be selected as the party's candidate for North Central St Andrew to allow for a resetting of the process of finalizing a candidate.
The withdrawal follows a review by the party. The senator explains what happens next in the process.
The party secretariat will now move to conduct a consultation with key stakeholders, including the executive and workers of the constituency, in the coming weeks as it restarts the process of finalizing a candidate for the constituency. The central executive accepted the decision of Messrs. Tavares, Finson and Seavright and noted that the two gentlemen are indeed valued members of the Jamaica Labour Party.
The party shares both men further committed to having their supporters respect the party's rules and regulations and to act in the interest of unity. The statement reminds that Mr. Samuda remains chairman of the constituency during the process of finalizing a candidate. Nika Lewis, CVM News.
The police in the St Catherine South Division have discovered human skeletal remains believed to be that of University of Technology UTech student Anissa Dilworth, who was reported missing on Wednesday, May 7. The body was discovered at a beach in Portmore on Saturday, May 17, and the police were alerted. Anissa Dilworth was last seen on Tuesday, May 6, and a missing person report was filed at the Pepin police station the following day. Now, the police, along with specialized units within the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, initiated an investigation into her disappearance at about 11:30 a.m. on May 17. Now, while a formal identification is pending forensic analysis, investigators believe the remains belong to Miss Dilworth, based on evidence found at the scene. The investigation into the circumstances surrounding her disappearance and the discovery of the remains are ongoing. Now, anyone with information that can assist in the probe is urged to contact the Criminal Investigations Branch at 876-929-9256, Crime Stop at 311, the National Intelligence Bureau at 811, or the nearest police station. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, while cutting the ribbon to the Morant Bay Urban Centre in St. Thomas, said residents have been freed from the hassle of travelling out of parish to do business.
Approximately $200 million has been spent on construction in St. Thomas. One such construction is the new urban center in Springfield District, Morant Bay. It amounts to $6 billion Jamaican dollars, $2 billion more than the Prime Minister's initial estimate. The project is spearheaded by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation through the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, the FCJ. China Harbour Engineering Company is the construction partner.
We started off with the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, a 16 kilometers, 4-lane highway from Harbour View to Yallas, and 96 kilometers of improved roadway from Yallas to Port Antonio. All of that together represents approximately $200 million of expenditure. We have built this Morant Bay Urban Center at a cost of $6 billion Jamaican dollars. We have built the Yallas Fire Station at a cost of $163 million Jamaican dollars.
Conceptualized in 2017, the urban center sits on the 25-acre property that once housed the Goodyear factory that was closed in 1997. Residents and visitors of St. Thomas will now have access to a courthouse and government entities like the National Housing Trust, National Water Commission, a tax office, and the Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency (PICA). KFC and NCB will also be commercial features on the center. Residents will benefit from a 25-unit medical facility that features urologists, pediatricians, as well as orthopedic surgeons. There'll also be an accident emergency and urgent care facility.
Medical facilities, and this will host 25 specialized units ranging from general practitioners, pediatricians, neurologists, orthopedic surgeons, you name it.
The parish will also have access to its very first university, the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC. The PM asserts work is far from complete in St. Thomas. He bids to expand the urban center by 10 acres, particularly to benefit small-scale businesses.
This project is not yet finished because we're going to do another extension of 10 acres of new buildings for micro and small businesses.
The Prime Minister says construction will continue with the next project, a multi-purpose sports and entertainment facility on a 13.5-acre property that's within close proximity to the urban center. He revealed that development in St. Thomas will be ongoing for the next 50 years. Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
The fight against crime continues in Montego Bay, not just with arrests, but with presence, as a continued show of availability by the police brings reassurance to residents in some of the most volatile communities. Here's more from Adrian Williams.
Strings of violent crimes that have struck the communities of Canterbury, Albion Lane and Love Lane in Montego Bay in recent months have left several families mourning, But today, a different picture is emerging. Authorities are calling it a murder anniversary intervention. Law enforcement officers of the Montego Bay Division moved through the streets not in response to violence, but in an effort to prevent it. Deputy Superintendent and Zone 3 Commander for St. James, Peter Salke, says this method is causing relief for residents.
It is interesting to note that the members of the community are so relieved by the peace that they are experiencing now. One of the things that we are driving is to encourage them that they can work towards keeping this level of peace that they are experiencing.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is outlining the mission behind their continued presence.
We prefer to know that proactively we can keep this country safe more than have to react to any incident.
Superintendent Salke declared that the JCF will continue to serve and protect. However, he's urging residents to speak up.
Let me use this medium to continue to encourage St. James and by extension, Jamaica. Tell us what you know is about to happen. That is where we want to stamp and do what is necessary to keep the things from happening. We will continue with this initiative. As you know and you are aware that Operation Storm 2 commenced May 1, and that is going great also. We have been in a number of communities with major operations, even being led by our commanding officer, Senior Superintendent Carlos Russell, and that is going great. We just ask you to continue to let us work together as citizens. You work with us as the police to make sure that this parish be the safest as it is brewing to be now. Let us continue to work together.
Since January 1 to May 10, 2025, 77 major crimes were recorded in the parish, 47% less than the same period last year. Adrian Williams for CVM News.
To an update on the weather now, a trough impacting sections of the country is expected to weaken throughout tonight. The Met Office says a ridge is then projected to build across the region by Monday morning. Sunday night is expected to be partly cloudy into tomorrow morning across eastern parishes. Otherwise, there will be mainly sunny conditions. Monday afternoon is, however, expected to be cloudy with isolated showers and thunderstorms across sections of central and western parishes. Over the next few days, the forecast is for partly cloudy conditions across sections of eastern parishes. Otherwise, it will be mainly sunny in the mornings. Afternoon showers and isolated thunderstorms are also expected across sections of western parishes and hilly areas. Otherwise, expect partly cloudy afternoons. Ground is broken on the Monroe Road to Seaview Avenue pipeline replacement and sewerage network installation project. We have more.
Jamaica's pathway to potable water in every household by 2030 is gaining momentum with the recent groundbreaking ceremony for a key part of a major water, road and sewage infrastructure overhaul of Kingston. The Monroe Road to Seaview Avenue pipeline replacement and sewage network installation project, a combined investment of more than 1.2 billion Jamaican dollars.
Today marks an important step forward, not just for the community of Wellington Avenue, Monroe Road, but for people who call St. Andrew Eastern and the neighboring constituency of St. Andrew Southeastern home. We're here to mark the start of a 1.2 billion investment being undertaken by the National Water Commission to modernize both sewage and potable water systems. This is not the first one that has happened in this constituency. There have been many, but I believe this is the first of that $10 billion, Minister Samuda.
Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, outlined the benefits of the projects as well as a raft of others set to come on stream.
That we have water capital projects in every single parish. In every single parish taking place concurrently. We are at the Rio Cobre project on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we move to breaking ground on the largest infrastructure in water project that we will be undertaking, the Northwestern project And then the following week, Prime Minister, you are on Washington Boulevard and you are also doing ferry to Rock Pond. And we have many more that will have to start ahead of commissioning's Prime Minister, because as Minister Williams mentioned, the $10.1 billion infusion that has come from the Ministry of Finance through the Consolidated Fund is being deployed across 14 major capital works, Minister Williams. But that is in addition to the fact that last year the NWC, through its own revenue, would have spent $3 billion, and several projects are nearing completion from their list as well as their own revenue work that will continue throughout the course of this year.
The pipeline replacement project involves the installation of over 6.6 kilometers of new ductile iron water mains, unlocking significant investment opportunities for developers, both residential and commercial. Samuda notes that similar outcomes are expected outside of the capital as well.
But in 2 weeks, I believe it's on the 29th or the 30th, we will also be mobilizing and commencing construction on the ferry to Rock Pond line. So for all of those who are listening on air, we want to assure those of our citizens who live in areas like Cooper's Hill, in areas like Swain Spring and Red Hills, that the investment is not limited to Kingston 6. We're coming to Kingston 19 next, and that will affect 3 constituencies in Western St. Andrew, Northwest St. Andrew, and West Rural St. Andrew, simultaneously, Prime Minister, with a $1.4 billion investment.
Joel Crosskill, CVM News.
And now a quick look at regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. In Trinidad and Tobago, the government's intention to sign an immigration order restricting the movement of dancehall star Adidja Vibes Cartel Palmer when he visits Trinidad later this month is in the best interest of the nation's children. More from TTT News.
Jamaican dancehall sensation Vibes Cartel confirmed he will perform at the One Caribbean Music Festival on May 31st and explained the problem lies where the promoter took it upon himself to fill his itinerary with things that had nothing to do with his performance. Cartel said rightfully so the defense minister pulled the plug on that part of the itinerary. The dancehall artist said he represents Trinidad, Jamaica and the entire Caribbean and sees no problem.
And in international news, the BBC reports Pope Leo was inaugurated as pontiff in Mass at St. Peter's Square. Leo was given the ring of the fisherman by a cardinal, symbolizing his role and its tradition, which has roots to St. Peter. World leaders including U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky were among the congregation. And 2 people have been killed and at least 19 others injured after a tall Mexican Navy training sailboat crashed into New York City's Brooklyn Bridge. That's according to the city mayor. More from the BBC.
Eyewitnesses described the moment the boat made contact with the bridge.
The boat kind of just was going past the bridge, and you just saw the top of it snap off, and it just kept on snapping, and I think there was a person dangling from the top.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was just blurry or just my eyes. And we were able to zoom in on our phone, and there was someone dangling from a harness from the top for at least 15 minutes before they were able to rescue them.
Yeah, and then we just stayed the entire time watching
the National Guard came, I think, the firefighter, everyone just...
Someone was dangling from the top, they were trying to pull him up, there was a bunch of people up top, it was just, at first, we just didn't know what was happening. Yeah.
That's it for regional and international news. I'm Nika Lewis.
Now, when an educator wishes her first child is a daughter, what does she do when physicians detect unusual features even before birth? Find out in part 1 of Dejanay Gordon's story as we continue to inspire Jamaica.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
3 months into her first real paid job in the classroom, filling in as a trained teacher, Deborah K. Stewart found out she was going to be a mother. Well, while relaxing to take on this important role, she had one wish.
And of course, when I was told that I am pregnant, I said, God, I hope it's a girl.
11 years later,
Janae is just a fantastic child. I am so blessed to be her mom. People always asking me, why is it that you take pleasure dressing her up like this? I tell them that she's my gift, and of course, she enjoys every moment of it. And as a mom of a child with special need, I always tell my mommy that, mommy, when she goes out, if they don't know that she has a need, then they will not know, because I'm not going to send her out there because first impression lasts. And at all times, I don't let her feel left out. Not because she has a child disability, person will not say, okay, her mommy dressed her up like this because of her disability. No, she's going to be that popping child.
she's the popping child.
Yes, she is the popping child.
I love it.
At all times, yes. I said you must always stand out.
My name is Luciana Morgan, and a little about myself is that I am physically challenged, so I can't walk very long because I have a hip problem.
Dejanae is an exceptional child, a teacher's profile student. You see, she's bolstered cheek to cheek at home by the strength of two women. The younger surviving a first pregnancy complicated by emotional uncertainties.
The doctors were not clear. They were just sending me to do a lot of tests. They wouldn't say anything. But then there are some days when I go to clinic, they would say the baby's not moving. Some days they were wondering if I was even pregnant, because some days, no movement. And of course, sometimes we'll just keep moving. So like for a month when I go to clinic, there's no movement. They have to be having me there for hours trying to figure out what is going on in my tummy. And of course, when they did figure it out, it was close to birth that they said it to me.
What did they figure out?
They said that the baby will be born with some
abnormality?
Yeah. I think that's not even what they said. They were just describing what she would look like when I give birth.
And what was that description?
So at one point they said, I know you're young, but you will realize that there will be two splits and her legs will turn. Alright, so they didn't give me a name, they didn't give me anything at that time. And then I was worried, because I was at my first child, being so young.
How old are you?
I was 23 when I gave birth. Yeah, I was 23.
So you were naturally worried.
Yeah.
Wow, what did you what did you discuss this with your mom?
Well, my mom is a praying woman, So she's always praying. She just said, don't worry about stuff. You will be fine. Yeah, but I was worrying because I don't know what it was. So at one point, I remember I went to the clinic and the nurse said, nothing to scare you, but do you know what I think basically she was basically saying the spit will look like a rabbit. And I was like, a rabbit? That was scary at the moment. And then she said, no, I'm just explaining, don't be surprised, no, don't be scared, all right? But then I trust God. When she was born, I did C-section. The nurse showed me her, and of course, I said, was it a girl? She said, yes. I said, okay. I said, from it's a girl, then I'll work around it.
The diagnosis and moving beyond the physical next time.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
Stay with us for sports up next.
Others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends, who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we're redefining what real connection is, prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers, get your $20,000 supermarket card when you add postpaid mobile for only $3,700 plus GCT to your current internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. We've got everything, stocking top brands like CNCs, Philips, and Allen Bradley. We guarantee quality and reliability. Shop with us and save with even free island-wide delivery. Conditions apply. Visit us at Shop 8 Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in electrical business.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends, who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we're redefining what real connection is, prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers, get your $20,000 supermarket card when you add postpaid mobile for only $3,700 plus GCT to your current internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
A very good evening to you, or viewers. Welcome to Sports. I'm Ronaldo Adams. Regular season table toppers Mount Pleasant held on for a 1-1 draw with Montego Bay United in their return leg semi-final of the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League at Sabina Park on Sunday. Mount Pleasant won the tie 2-1 on aggregate to book their spot in Friday's final at the National Stadium, where they'll face the winner of semi-final 2 between Arnett Gardens and reigning champions Cavalier. Let's recap the highlights.
A little bit of magic, Haitian magic, inside Sabina Park. It was wonderful to watch. Loved the give and go between Campbell and Edwards. And then he just went casual after it. Hospitalis was just left beat. Couldn't believe it. Celestin, yeah, applied the finish so well. We could look at this all day. Good night. Sleep tight. Burton couldn't believe that he was beaten from there, and Celestin getting his 4th of the season. The 16-year-old was absolutely brilliant in this game, I felt. Anglin's ball inside. How did Edwards not score from there? That was a shocker. Gordon's ball inside, the flick from Fletcher. Fletcher with that attempt. It was Brian Brown with the flick, in fact. Fletcher's attempt. Danger was averted there. Gordon to Fletcher. Fletcher. And Brian Brown converting from inside the 6-yard box. Devonnie Burton getting a hand on it, but it was really good work from Fletcher, you know. Managed to get the shot out from an acute angle. Burton may, Tafari Chambers rather, maybe a little bit disappointed that he palmed it into danger, and Brian Brown was alert. Really alert. Getting his 13th of the season, and we're level in this game. Mount Pleasant really could have put an exclamation mark on this. Walsh denied by Burton. Looking for his 3rd goal this season, Siobhan Walsh. And then Mobay United with a glorious chance here, and Cummings in the way again. The crowd on its feet couldn't believe the opportunity that was missed. And that was that.
JPL Playoffs, powered by Sunshine Snacks, ABC Electrical, and Texaco.
Former National Premier League outfit, Jamaica Defence Force, emerged the champions of the Kasafa Ray and Nephew Championship when they came from behind to edge out Augustown by the odd goal in 3 on Saturday night at the Constant Spring playing field. Let's relive some of the exciting moments.
But he's in control. Nice turn, no look pass to Green. Oh, it's a lovely pass into the path of Hudson! Hudson! It's the